So I was wondering what you were planning this year as a freshman. What do you think the needs are in your district?
Well, thank you. It's ironic that you're both talking about two things, public safety and energy, which are two things that I'm also passionate about. I work as an energy consultant for H New Energy, and so I'm involved with LED lighting and solar PV system installations. And one of the things that I'm looking at as a part of the energy package that I would hope our caucus will take forward is adding on LED lighting along with the CFL, the compact fluorescent lighting, and solar water heating tax credits. And right now LED lighting is excluded, and LED lighting is actually better than the compact fluorescents because it doesn't have any harmful metals in it. It actually should be disposed of as a hazardous material, but it's not. And those used light bulbs are ending up in our landfill, as well as they not lasting as long as the compact fluorescents do. So the homeowners are having to replace them more often, and LED light lasts about 10 times longer. So there's no reason why we shouldn't also look at including LED lighting as a part of our whole concept of saving energy and being more efficient with our lighting and our lighting needs and those kinds of things.
Representative Fontaine, can you tell me, where are those available? I don't see them in the markets or...
They're starting to become available through outlets like Home Depot and Lowe's are starting to sell them. But you have to be very careful with the kinds of brands that you buy because there have been some cheap Chinese brands that have come in that are not well made. So it's important for the consumers to really do some research on the lighting that they buy to make sure that they're buying a high quality product. But they're fabulous. They don't give off any heat. The color rendition is phenomenal. And I did a quick study on Maui that if we replaced 4,000 street lights with LED, we make street lights as well. They can be dimmed, so you can actually ramp up and ramp down your street lighting from dusk to dawn. We would actually save about $500,000 a year if we switched out 4,000 street lights on Maui. So there's considerable energy savings even over high pressure sodium.
That's even after your cost of buying them.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah. So the payoff is in a matter of 2 or 3 years in most instances for a homeowner on the energy savings, because we take a 75 watt floodlight and replace it with an 18 watt. Mm-hmm. and it provides just as much light as the floodlight does, and it has a 98% color rendition versus a 30 or 40% color rendition with a compact fluorescent or a high pressure sodium, where you're not getting that whole visible light spectrum. So it's pretty interesting. The other area is I really want to see us get some form of Jessica's Law on the books here in Hawaii, and that's where we have mandatory sentencing for people who commit sexual assaults on young children. I would like to see it, first time offense, 20 years to life, and on the second offense, if the guy gets out and does it again, it's life imprisonment. We really need to start cracking down on these predators that are out there. We have most of the other states who have bought into some form of Jessica's Law, and we're like one of 11, I believe, that have not taken on this legislation. So that's another area that I'm looking at. I'm looking at ways that we can have better accountability for people who abuse multiple animals, at a time. Yes. Cruelty to animals is one area. I had a constituent who's been calling me a couple of times about that issue, about people that do cruelty to animals on a wide range scale, like dog fighting and these kinds of things. So we want to take a look at stiffening those kinds of penalties. So.
Is there a strong correlation between hurting animals and other types of crimes?
Yes, especially abuse of children and domestic violence as well.
So you can really track the perpetrator of those crimes.
Exactly.
And then see that the next step would be against children or
exactly.
a family member.
Exactly. And I want to get our high school built in South Maui, and I talked about it on this show before. It's on the books, but we need to make it happen. And a lot of people in the state of Hawaii don't understand how this works, but the children in South Maui have to travel on a bus ride anywhere from 14 to 15 miles to go to Maui High School in a different city. And I believe we're only the community our size that does not have its own high school. So I'm really going to be trying to push that, and I've already spoken to Senator Ross Baker and Representative Angus McKelvey over from the west side about let's keep this on track and let's keep that fire lit and trying to get that project done. So
Is Maui High overcrowded?
Oh yes, and the thing about it is that you got cultural differences. Maui High is situated in Kahului, where most of the kids that go there from Kahului are immigrants and these kinds of things, and then you have kids that are coming from South Maui, which is a wide variety of ethnic backgrounds, but I would probably say we're mostly Caucasian. And so as a result we get a lot of fights at that school, and there's a lot of clashes because of that. And we just need to, our community has lacked for so long, it's even its own gymnasium. We have our pool complex, which is phenomenal, which then Mayor Linda Lingo put in. And we're now just getting additional ballparks that are being installed, but we don't even have a gymnasium. So having that high school will really create a foundation for the community. And the amount of growth that's going on in South Maui is just phenomenal.
Is that right?
They're planning, we just sat in a meeting, that they're planning another 1,000 units down there. And guess what? There's no plan for a school, and we can't just keep building homes down there without having the infrastructure and the education in place to support all of this development. So, we got to start thinking out of the box a little bit about this and really trying to plan better.
I have to put a pitch in for Kalaheo High School, which is the only high school in the state that does not have a regulation-sized football field. It was originally designed as an intermediate school, so they had a playing area, which is kind of like a Susie Homemaker-sized football field, and that was justification because it was going to be an intermediate school. Then the population in Kailua grew so much, so it's a high school. We've completed the first step of a land exchange that's going to allow the football field to be enlarged, and the Marines have been wonderful with their support. So it's a public-private partnership, and we eventually will be able to get the football field full size, and that's well past time.
Sounds like a necessity. I have Kalani High School in my district, and Kalani High School has won a baseball championship, but they don't have a baseball field.
Oh my.
And there is no room in the nearby area to build one adjacent to campus. So they practice at a public park a block away, or else Kahala Field, which is about a half-mile away. So they've managed anyway, but so our schools do have definite needs.
Yes. Yeah. And I think all of us can agree that we need to do that audit of the DOE. I think
absolutely.
We got to push through that act.
Maybe
to make
explain to the viewers a little bit more about the audit.
Well, all of us are trying to push for a complete independent audit of the Department of Education. We put considerable amount of money, what is it, $2.1 billion a year into the Department of Education. And yet our kids are still coming out ranked some of the lowest in the country in terms of education. So we want to make sure that we're getting more dollars into that classroom and that we improve our education system. And I want it to be done independently so that we don't have any type of shenanigans with the state getting involved in fluffing this number or changing it here or whatever. It needs to be done independently. And and I think that if we could attract a firm to do it pro bono, to actually do it, and then whatever money that they find in savings, then they could charge back for their fee for whatever to do that audit, would be a way that we might be able to do it without it actually costing any money. Something I haven't explored yet, but I think that's something that we probably all could talk about, is maybe some different ways that we could find the way. Because I know that's going to be the big complaint. They're going to say, oh, we don't have any money, we can't afford this. But I think if we come up with a fiscal concept of being able to afford this, say it costs $2 million to do this audit, and the audit is done and there's all the savings is found, I think that's the way we can pay for it.